This match here was actually a really tightly contested match. I believe we win one round apiece to start, and then I think we win the match in total. But this one here was sort of a test in patience. You'll see, I think early on, I don't really do a very good job in my patient approach, because that is my weakness as a guy that plays a lot of FPS games, is sometimes I get really way too impatient too early. I try and push in and do too much too quickly. I forget the fundamentals. I forget exactly what I should be doing instead of what I actually am doing, and it gets myself killed a lot more in a lot of dumb ways that really just shouldn't happen. And that exercise in non-futility, I guess you could say, helps you out. In that case there, I sort of used it a little bit early, of course. If I'd waited just a little bit, I wouldn't have been sort of on my own. And there you go, getting killed. Not really doing an awful lot to help anyone else. I skip ahead a little bit because we weren't doing much. We hadn't even got on the contesting point yet. They're at 45%. I believe we do come back and win this one, though, if you can believe it or not. See, the Reaper's biggest weakness, as I've gone over a couple of times in other videos, is the range. He has the ability to get behind enemy lines, he has the ability to close ground and retreat quickly, and you have to make use of that. But because he's using two shotguns, the damage range falls off incredibly quick. Getting in close quarters, getting face to face with the enemy is where he excels. Getting kills especially help, because I think you get the 25% buff of your ammo or your health back. So continually getting kills is what's going to be good. I tried to get in the air to use my super there, because a lot of the time Reaper attacking from above is with his super is the best way to do it, because he doesn't have the strongest of supers. The range isn't huge, and if two enemies see you at the exact same time as you're activating it, a lot of the time you'll just be immediately clubbed to death, and you might do a little bit of damage. So the best way to do it is to try and attack from above, because by the time they realize you're there, they can't really retreat, the damage is done, they're dead, and you've killed a lot of the team. That's a little bit of foreshadowing as I drop a hint about where I'll be going next. Bear that in mind. A lot of the time, I forgot his name, Tormid or whatever his name, the guy that makes the turrets, he makes your life a living pain in the ass at times, and I find in terms of priority, if they're both in the match, I like to try and take out Tormid and the Mercies of the enemy team if I'm playing as Reaper first. The Tormid's mostly because, as much as he might not be the biggest threat to you on the map, his turrets provide excellent area control, so they're instantly damaging you and your teammates, or they're just pushing you out of an area that you really need to get. Like the turret there, he's applying it like basically in the center here, so we can't push into their spawn, and he was applying it right there, as you saw in the previous run, which sort of made things a bit of a pain in the ass, because it means we couldn't flank them, which is what was basically my job. So what I like to do is try and get behind them as fast as I can using the teleport, or flanking to get those turrets, take out those turrets, and allow my teammates to try and push up. So as you can see, they hit reach 99, and between me not doing a ton, just trying to take out the turrets and get behind them and frustrate them a little bit, we had caught up. And I didn't realize their spawn was right there, and the Reaper basically gets a free kill. And now here's where you pick your point. I jump in, I know my teammates are down there to try and give me health, so I figure I'd go for it. And bam, look at that super. Enemy team cleared. My teammates now jump on it. We take out the Lucio, and bam. Game, set, match. Pick your time and excel. And the rest of the time it's sit on the objective and make sure nobody else can push in. We get round one. So picking your time right there is sometimes the biggest plus that you can do for your team. Sometimes I've seen lots of players that immediately use their super the second they get it, and I've seen people do the opposite end of the spectrum, where they sometimes hold it too long, waiting for that right moment to try and go for that 5-6 kill eliminating or team eliminating event, which admittedly I'm still in the sort of trials and tribulations of figuring out the optimum process for it myself. But when you have an opportunity like that, where my health was running low, I had seen my teammates at least pushing in with me, hopefully trying to replenish some of my health, use it. If you could take out 2 or 3 guys when the team is composed of 6 and your team is closing ground to jump on the objective with you, use it. You take out, I was hoping to take out 2 or 3 guys. I think I got 4, and then the 5th with the Lucio. That allows us to close ground, allows us to jump on the objective. Game over. So this is the start of the second round that we have here, which I don't know why, but I always find this one a bit of a pain in the ass, even though to control. I like, of course, with the Reaper here doing what I've been saying all the time, just trying to close ground, push them back into their objective as much as we can. And I think I get stuck in this particular area here. The reason why is because this is their spawn. They're going to be coming out of there, and they're going to be coming out of where I had just shot the enemy. And I was trying to control, I guess, this left flank when looking at the perspective of the actual objective. My problem too with Reaper a lot of the time is that I'll get pushed back as I use it sometimes, so it basically goes to waste, as you saw there. But control, because there's so many different ways to get to this one particular objective, and that's the issue. You can't really account for them all, and you can get quite easily pushed off the map. And I think I get pushed off the map again here in the next second or two. And because I had gotten pushed off the map with a couple of them, they were able to grab the objective and they crushed us. They got it real quick. So that was the end of round 2. It goes, of course, to the tie-breaking round 3, which I believe is sort of more of the same. We just try to push in here. And this one is by far more open, which doesn't, of course, help the Reaper all that much if you're actually sitting on the objective, which a lot of the time when I'm playing as Reaper, sometimes you'll look at the objective sheet at the end and you'll be like, oh, you only got like 4 objective kills, or you didn't sit on the objective a lot. But the thing is, when you're playing as Reaper, if you're sitting right in the middle of an objective that's right in the open, like say B right there, you're not going to be doing your team an awful lot of good dying or continually taking a lot of damage on a point that you can't even fight back considering the range. Your job should be to push in, and again I waste a super here, your job should be to push in, flank, and take people out. That's your job. Disrupt the ebb and flow of the match. Disrupt what the enemy team wants to do. Make their lives frustrating, and then the rest of your team, while they're flustered and maybe being a little careless trying to avoid the Reaper, can pick them off like flies. That is your job. Even though it might not show that you've played the objective an awful lot, you actually are in effect doing it, but not showing on the score sheet. It's sort of a getting a lot of kills. It's hardly a situation where you can call it a thankless job, but in terms of playing the objective, it can be a thankless job. If your job is keeping them back, disrupting them, flanking them like this, not really allowing them to push onto the objective, then you are playing the objective just as much as somebody else who's sitting on a flag as a defensive player. Like here, just pushing them back. Look, just pushing them back, not really allowing them to get out of their spawn point while we run up the objective score, because we're losing, what was it, 76 to 23? So we have to do whatever we can to keep them in their spawn. Do not allow them to push out. And I mean, you could say maybe it is spawn camping or not, but I think that's more of a testament to map design. You can't really fault a player for taking advantage of the grid or the layout of a map and utilizing it to effectively win matches. So it is what it is. We control them here. We did a good job of pushing them back. And again, this I didn't really like the layout of this map either, because look, it's all corridors, not a lot of cover between those corridors, and then it's buildings. So if they go into the buildings to try and avoid those long corridors and sight lines, they get crushed by guys like Reaper, who can't, because they can't really do anything. And I just sit in the building, wait for them to push out, pop the super, damaged, they retreat, repeat the process. Enjoy the rest of the gameplay. Have a good one.